king-size chat about the power and torque of e-mountain bikes recently. In this video, we're going to take a look at the close relationship of the tyre to the type of e-mountain bike you've got. Now, there's two ways of looking at this. You can look at it in an uphill scenario situation or also a downhill. Now, when it comes to uphill, a great tyre on the back, which has got good compound, which has got a good tread pattern, good volume, will actually aid your climbing ability in technical terrain. Obviously, there's other things as well, such as your mode and your line choice and the strategy to climbs. But we're here in Brennan, and there's another side to the story as well, isn't there?
It's a good variety of downhills here, Steve. As well, you've got a lot of hard pack, flowy, trail centre downhills, but also some pretty chunky technical descents as well. So it's a bit of everything.
Yeah, so we're going to have a look at a range of trails, a range of tyres, to see what could be best for you and the type of riding that you do.
Well, Steve has stitched me up because I am riding my white Kado, in fact an updated one with the Bosch CX. It's now got the 100 Newton meters of torque and the 750 watts of power. And I usually run these lovely Schwalbe Magic Mary gravity tyres, as you can see on the front. But actually, Steve has stuck me with a Schwalbe Rick XC, which is a proper low-profile cross-country race tyre, in fact. So I think I'm going to find it spinning up on these techie climbs. We'll find out.
That's a professional race tyre you got on there.
Yeah, well,
you could argue that Don's actually stitched me up by putting his soft compound 2.6 Magic Mary gravity ultra soft casing tyre on the back of my bike. As you can see, it only just fits in this Canyoneering on fly, and that's because the bike is actually designed for more of a trail sort of enduro style kind of riding. And I think these low profile tyres will come into their own when we're descending a bit later in this type of environment. So we've come off-piste to a bridleway. It's much more of a technical climb. It's wider, but then there is a piece up there which gets tight and it gets rooty, the kind of terrain you might not get in a typical trail centre. As you can see here, there's a difference between traction on this bike, which is 55 Newton meters with a chunky tyre, compared to Neil's, which is 100 Newton meters with a low profile tyre. Interesting, actually, Don. I couldn't believe the grip I had going up there with this soft compound tyre.
Did you throw a bit of momentum at it, get up it, a bit of...
So I think there's two things at play here, isn't there, really? Because I was surprised you actually made it on 2 attempts with that. And I think what we need to talk about, folks, is the fact that there is a climb where you can use your momentum, and there's a climb where you actually go from standstill, because I think they give you 2 different outcomes, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky. I've got the software in here, so I've got that big overrun, because a couple of times, I don't know how many revolutions my rear wheel did, but it was spinning and dragging me up when I could just about get back on the pedals, because it's quite hard to get pedal strokes through that rough little bit. And twice that saved me and got me through it, but the once I just span up and then couldn't get going again, basically.
Swapping the wheels back out, really interesting, the difference in weight between...
Well, it's a chunky tyre, that's gravity.
I mean, that's probably a 1,200 gram tyre on there.
It's more than that. Ultra soft as well, so super soft compound.
Let's see what happens on a fire road.
So I'm back on the Magic Mary, and you can see the square edge of those treads, really deep treads as well. It's a good combo, I think, with the power and the torque of this bike. So from a standing start, with a bit of grunt, I reckon this should be a lot easier now. Let's have a go.
Nice! Don flying up the climbs.
Well, I made it that time, easy.
I think in summary there, a slightly lower torque bike with the right tyre is always going to be better than a higher torque bike with the wrong tyre, would you say?
Probably right, yeah. It's difficult to know, isn't it? It's a bit of a combo of skill and everything as well.
I think there's an important thing to understand about tyres is if you're unsure about the compound. Now, tyres come in so many different compounds, it's actually really quite difficult to navigate. I mean, I see you've gone for an upgrade on your bike here on the back, right?
A slightly unusual combo, because I've got 2 similar, well, same treads, both Magic Marys, but I've actually got a super trail casing up front, so not the big heavyweight, and it's a soft compound, whereas I've got the gravity casing on the rear and the ultra soft compound. I've just changed it because I thought it'd be quite nice, slightly more durable tyre up front, but actually a bit softer, a bit grippier on the rear. I always like a chunkier tyre, heavier tyre on the rear, because riding flat pedals, I've always found that if I'm going to puncture anything, it's smashing the back tyre into things. So obviously it's up to the weight of the bike a little bit, but the payoff for that is a real chunky, grippy tyre on the rear. And I like it.
There's a great, the magic mirror in the back is a great example of a tyre which is great for technical climbing. I think the key thing, and like I said, if you've got any doubts about the durometer on the compound tyre, ask a specialist, because the softest compound tyre will always be the best for climbing on EMTBs. So that's a techie climb. I think time now to move on to more of a mellower fire road scenario to see what the difference is there. We're now on a smooth, mellow climb, which is actually quite typical of a trail centre climb. And I really believe this is the kind of place where a lightweight e-mountain bike such as this Neuron Fly with 55 Nm Bosch SX motor excels.
Yeah.
Quite interesting, Don, is that this bike has actually got just over half the torque of your bike, right?
Yeah, exactly. And with these tyre combos, if we were on regular mountain bikes, I'd be feeling a lot harder, well, more roll resistance now, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
And you got to think that on those like single track trails, that's what makes those bikes so easy at the speed limit. And also, it's got to make a difference in your efficiency as well. If I'm dragging big, heavy tyres with loads of grip around.
I think tyre choice when it comes to range is massive.
What about drag race?
Yeah, drag race.
Well, the torque isn't around me that much in this situation, so it's all about power, I suppose.
Yeah, let's have a look. Oh, I didn't really...
Oh, hit the limit.
So, mellow fire trail gradient, 55 Nm, 600 watts peak power, low profile fast rolling tyres and 97 kilos versus...
74 kilograms, 750 peak watts, 100 newton meters, and chunky tyres. It's close, wasn't it?
I think it was. I think it was too close to call. I think, as you mentioned earlier, the effect on range might be quite noticeable.
Yeah, I reckon,
two bikes, yeah. But I think it goes to prove that it is horses for courses, and if you're riding five trails all day long, you might be better with a low-profile fast-rolling tyre, right?
Well, we're not, Steve. We're going to ride some proper trails.
OK, so now we turn to the downhill element of our head-to-head. I tell you what, single track, gravel, mellow gradients, flying machine tyres, and also I can actually keep above 25 kph on this bike a lot easier. What about on that rock over there?
So on these big rock slabs, they're quite wet as well, so you do need a bit of grip, but I've got a lot more sort of protection with these tyres. Not only are the tread a lot deeper, I've got a lot more rubber between the rocks and my rims, but also I've got the harder construction tyres as well, so I've got a lot tougher tyres and more grip on them, and it really works on these rougher, gnarlier sections.
Well, what about above 25 kph?
Over 25 kph, you do feel like you hit the wall a little bit. It'll push through a bit, but it's definitely not the most nimble feeling bike and tyre combo at high speed.
So who's got the best tyre combo?
Me.
Who's the fastest rider? Me. I've said it before, Don, and I'm going to say it again. If I was riding trail centres, SX bike, low profile tyres, flying machine.
I reckon you might have gone a little bit extreme with Rick XCs, to be fair, but yeah, I definitely agree with like a lightweight trail tyre feels great, doesn't it? It just suits even the fork and the frame all works together nicely.
I just love how it's just like, it's really nervy, and I quite like the nervy feel in a trail centre, because sometimes you need something to excite you in a place like this.
Yeah, and I reckon my combo is probably a bit too extreme for here. I almost feel a bit overbiked in sections, and that is, you know, bike and tyre combo, whereas a lot of my more natural riding that I'm doing, where I'm riding almost downhill trails, that's just when these tyres really come into their own, I suppose.
So I think like this quick visit to Coed-y-Brenin proves it's actually still it's a jigsaw puzzle. It's a jigsaw puzzle with power, and it's a jigsaw puzzle with tyre choice as well. And I really was interested about, we haven't explored it, and we will explore it in the future weeks on the channel, is the relationships between the overrun which you set up on your bike when it comes to technical climbing and your tyre choice.
Yeah, there aren't that many times when you get to use it, but when it gets really technical, it saves my bacon all the time, to be fair.
So there you go, folks. That's it from Coed-y-Brenin. Let us know your choice of tyres. And like we mentioned earlier, durometer really is important when it comes to climbing.